folks, something we've been waiting on for several months, and it's now here. It's called Bella Melt. You were on it for just 1 week when you lost 3 pounds. So in the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com, MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 fast action. Do you like drinking toxins that could cause cancer, inflammation, and all kinds of other autoimmune diseases? Of course you don't. Well, much of our water in America is full of toxins. That's a proven fact. WorldviewWater.net. WorldviewWater.net is your solution so that you can drink good, clean water. In fact, I give it to all my 3 fur babies, all my 3 dogs. I have one under my kitchen sink, one of these filters, as well as on my shower. WorldviewWater.net.
But with Brandon, it's always cutting edge stuff happening in the world, and it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus, you're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent, you're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
نام جاویده وطن صبح امید وطن جلوه کن در آسمان همچو مهر جاودان وطن ای هستی من شور و سرمستی من جلوه کن در آسمان همچو مهر جاودان بشنو سوز سخنم که هم آواز تو منم همه جان و تنم وطنم 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 بشنو سوز سخنم که نواگر این چمنم همه جان و تنم وطنم 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 همه با یک نام و نشان به تفاوت هر رنگ و زبان همه با یک نام و نشان به تفاوت هر رنگ و زبان همه شاد و خوشحالم.
Hi guys, welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Don't mind my camera. It's going to blur out and it's going to focus in. Welcome to Live Up to Freedom. Sorry. Last minute technical difficulty with my microphone. Had to switch it out. Something happened to my camera. But that's all right. Show must go on. We are live on worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube Rumble and X account, also worldviewtube app. We are also live on X America News on X and my platforms. And officially starting today, we are streaming on my X account as well, which is Live Up to Freedom on X. Substack, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, wherever you're watching, please make sure to share. Give it a thumbs up. It does help the algorithm, I've been told. I don't know. Send in your comments. If there are questions, suggestions, confusions, I don't know, ideas, whatever they are, I will look to that side as we get going with the show. And every time I try to fix my hair, and don't mind the hair, it's Monday. Wow. It is never fun when seconds before your show, something's not working, but that's all right. Okay, I wanted to start the show with that video because I wanted to start the show with some good news and, as always, some proof. So I'm going to start with some updates on the Iran's revolution, but we're going to do this outside of America. As I talk, we're just going to show you different cities, different countries, and all the footages you're about to see are from Saturday and Sunday, yesterday and day before, where Iranians showed up on the streets of their hometown. Some traveled far. I know the one in Los Angeles, California, there were buses coming from Nevada. There were buses coming from Sacramento, San Francisco, San Diego, everywhere. Los Angeles turned out to be the biggest yesterday, with estimated 50,000 people showing up. And we had rallies inside America. We had them in Dallas, Texas. We had them in New York, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Phoenix, Arizona, and a few other places inside America. And if you want to pop those videos just as a B-roll for audience to see, and there's a point of showing these videos, guys. Then let's head to Europe. We had Australia, Italy, France, Germany, Norway, Switzerland, UK, of course, and other countries. We even had one in Turkey. Iranian refugees in Turkey came out yesterday and Saturday. A few reasons we need to see these. And of course, it is good news because for anybody out there somewhat trying to say the revolution has, died down and it's back to normal, I guess these videos would prove otherwise. Also, for many, specifically in America, many playing blind, dumb, or ignorant, these videos would show proof that, number one, it's not just Iranians inside Iran who are asking for regime change. It's Iranians outside of Iran. Secondly, for those who would like to say, we don't hear anybody picking Crown Prince Pahlavi. Nobody is asking for anyone specific, or for those who write articles, to be very specific. For example, Claire Lopez, as you saw the debate, both Thursday night and Friday, on her Newsmax article, she says, though some are calling for Pahlavi, some are calling for something else. These videos are proof that that sentence is misinformation purposely placed on places like Newsmax, because some aren't calling for Crown Prince Pahlavi. Majority are. You can't hear the chants, but the pictures and the flags says everything you need to know. Oh, look at that right there, right? And on the other hand, again, when you say some are doing this, some are doing that, we're showing our side. Us, those of us who are calling for Crown Prince Pahlavi to be the transitional government after the fall of regime, we're showing our proof. We're showing city after city, country after country, thousands after thousands of Iranians chanting for Reza Pahlavi, waving the Pahlavi flag and showing his picture, his father's picture, our queen's picture. So why doesn't the other side show proofs? Isn't that a fair question? You say some are calling, some are calling. You're making it an equal battlefield. You're claiming just as many Iranians who are calling for Crown Reza Pahlavi are calling for Maryam Rajavi and Masoud Rajavi. Where is your proof? Where is it? Why are there less than a handful of videos that we showed last week on my show of a handful of people in only 2 cities in Europe showing up with Maryam Rajavi's picture? See, these are the times that unfortunately the old tricks of MEK from 2003, 2010, 2012, it doesn't work anymore, because nowadays everybody have a phone with a camera. And we can show the numbers, we can show the flags that are flying, we can show the crowd, we can show the chants. And though the Western media, specifically conservative American media, is trying so hard to silence us, they're trying so hard to push for a different narrative, best of luck to them. It literally, X has been conquered by MEK. They're spending as much as they can on X. But even with that, it's still hard to hide these evidence, these videos. Every day, both last weekend, the weekend before yesterday, and yesterday and the day before, London had 30,000 out. Los Angeles had 50,000 out. The smallest place in Turkey with just Iranian refugees had a couple of hundred out. How do you rewrite those numbers? I know the denial is thick, but we're not giving up, regardless of which platform is going with what narrative. The truth speaks for itself. Majority of Iranians inside Iran, with all the video evidence, majority of Iranians outside Iran are calling for Crown Prince Pahlavi. And I'll say this straight up. No one, I don't care who you are, what position you hold in the world, you do not get to silence the voice of people. You don't. And I want to remind my American audience, because I did this on Facebook. I want you to remember how you felt in 2020. I want you to remember how you felt in 2020 when you realized your vote and your voice was hijacked. So if you defend those, if you come up with excuse for those who are silencing the vote and voice of majority of Iranians, unless you have proof to override what I'm claiming right now, if you have videos of tens of thousands of Iranians anywhere in the world out calling for anyone except Crown Prince Pahlavi, then you get to have a conversation. And I know it doesn't exist. Therefore, if you defend them, then you fit yourself in the sentencing that goes with being a hypocrite is not cool. If you feel like your rights were taken away in 2020 and you fought for 4 years to prove it and take it back, blah, 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 today you better stand with the voice of Iranian people, because they are out there on social media through posts. Someone like me who cannot attend a rally, I literally put a post on my page saying he has my vote. Those who are on the streets, those who have programs, you'll hear it. And if you don't want to stand by Iranian people because somehow, for lack of information, you think Crown Prince Pahlavi is not a good option for Iran, again, unless you're an Iranian, you don't get to have a say. But that's all right. You don't have to endorse him, but do not jump on the train of those who are putting lies out there, pretending like anyone except Crown Prince Pahlavi has the majority vote of Iranian people. These matters. We are on day 23 of this uprising. 23. And for the last 10 days, they have done everything in their power to show you, outside of Iran, to show you that it's over, it's done, they went home. And if you believe those propagandas, then again, we're on our own. By we, I mean the Iranian people. Inside Iran or outside of Iran. Looks like I need to go head to my first ad break. And then when we come back, lots more to talk about, including the propaganda spread by conservatives out there who used to not like elections hijacked. We'll be right back.
Life is too short to spend a single moment spinning in laundry worries. Take a load off your mind with the all-new Norwex Powerzyme laundry detergent. This natural detergent harnesses the power of enzymes and plant-based surfactants to leave fabrics fresh and clean without fillers, brighteners, synthetic fragrances, bleach, or harsh chemicals. So go ahead, have your cake and eat it too. More than ever, stressful stains have met their match. Powerzyme's fast-acting enzymes break down organic substances while natural surfactants loosen locked-in dirt and oil, removing residue, stains, and odors with ease. With 91% bio-based ingredients, this dermatologist-tested hypoallergenic formula is suitable for sensitive skin types and delivers a safe and effective clean that won't harm you or the planet's waterways. Less time spent worrying about laundry means you can focus on what truly matters. Norwex Powerzyme Laundry Detergent. Discover the power of nature and load up on confidence.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. I just realized my camera is trying to make me look younger today, but it's going way too blur. I think it's doing a self-filter for better imaging. Sorry. Okay. As you all know, I actually sent a message out to my Substack subscribers last night about Norwex. I am very happy to say they are at the moment my one and only affiliate. I've been using their product for over 6 months and I love it. I do. This is not a marketing talk. I can take pictures across my house and show you the products laying around, and I do use them and I do love them. 100% chemical free, very affordable, and in long term it actually ends up saving you money while switching over to Norwex and making purchases from Norwex also supports what I do here financially, directly financial support for Live Up to Freedom, not just the show, but everything else I do. So head over to cyruswellness.com. That is cyruswellness.com. Those of you on Substack who received the email, there's actually a private link with my favorites and some of the favorites I've received. So it's a smaller list that makes it easier to choose products. So if you got the email last night, make sure to click on it. Scroll to the bottom. There's a link. Click on it and claim the items you like. Let's do this. Let's head over to comment section real quick because I don't want them to pile up and then I can't get to read them. That's not good. Hi, Larry. Good to see you from Canada. Yes, I don't know if you caught it or not, Larry, but one of the videos was from Toronto, Canada on Saturday. Like you barely see the people due to heavy snow, and God bless them. They didn't stay home because there was Toronto snow coming down. They showed up. There are some of the pictures, they're like literally freezing. Like you can see in the body language of freezing cold, and they showed up. They showed up and they didn't stay home. So yes, I'm very, very proud of them. Hello from northern Minnesota. Hi, Tammy. Great to see you. Keith says, unfortunately, the majority of people in America don't know their own history. They know even less about Iran, and they think they can tell Iran what to do. I agree with you, Keith, and I will address that in a minute, actually. But the good news is there are so many of us Iranians who are out there. I know many of my fellow Iranians who literally opened platforms, social media pages when this all started because they realized that every single one of our voices needs to be getting out there because we knew what we are up against. So that is very true. And it does, I'll be honest with you, there has been few people that I ended up blocking on my Facebook when they come and, try to tell me that I don't know enough to have a pick for my motherland leadership and they know better. And I'm like, seriously? Like, you vote in America not based on policy, but whose more personality matches you. You want to tell me if I know who to vote for when it comes to my motherland? Like, come on. we can't even get it straight here in America. Annie, the Met and Dust wand is wonderful. Oh, Tressa got her product. I have more to try. I'll let you know about when I try them. Yes, the dusting Met is awesome. It doesn't just collect dust, it doesn't just clean dust, but it actually clears all the spots as well. So it's like 2 in 1. Hi, Tina, good to see you. And then I have some comments over here on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining on YouTube and Facebook and X. Thank you. Yes, that's hoodie. It is cold. It's getting really cold here in Cincinnati. And I'm like, I need a couple of hoodies. And then I contact one of my friends. I'm like, I'm about to spend some money on hoodie. What you got? And he told me that they're releasing the new, Pahlavi flag, and I got a couple other ones that I'll be wearing this week. But I was like, yay, 2 birds with 1 stone. I always like that. Hi, Bill. It is good to see you. Pookie said, Annie, as a Persian, can you vote for a candidate in Iran? Technically, yes. There are those that outside of Iran do vote. I can't personally, for the fact that this is actually a little funny and sad at the same time, because some of us Iranians were talking, and it came up that I need to figure out what to do, because I don't actually even have my original birth certificate. I have a copy of my birth certificate, but remember when I headed out to be smuggled out, it wasn't like I could get all my documents because my grandma basically sneaked me out of the country. She did have a copy of my birth certificate. That's all I got. I don't have my original birth certificate. I don't even know where it's at anymore. And with both my mother and father passing away, I don't even know where to begin. I don't have a social security, which came to Iran much later after I left. So I can't, not that I would anyways, but yes, they do have this law that as an Iranian, just like any other country, if you have your proof of citizenship or birth certificate and social security, you can vote. Now, if we're talking the, topple of this regime and Lord willing, transitional government, Crown Prince Pahlavi, I will get to vote. I will vote. I will run to vote. I'll be the first one to vote. I'll have the stamp on my finger. But as of today, as an Iranian, I could, but because I don't have all the documentations they require, I can't. And again, not that I would want to do that, because I don't want to vote for these killers. Hey, Peggy. Good to see you from Washington State. Have you heard from any of your family yet? Yes, Lori. If you recall, last week I mentioned that I got a short phone call, and that was from a family member, but nothing since then. I have not heard anything since then. Okay, let's continue on the propaganda thing. Some of you might have heard, some of you might not heard, but Kerry Lake is under heavy fire, quote unquote, attack on X by tens of thousands of Iranians, yours truly included. Yes, I'm one of them. Now, why? Let me give you the backstory real quick, and then I will repeat. If you're going to defend her, just don't. That's all right. You can defend her in your heart, but don't put it on my comment section, because if you do, then signs of hypocrisy will pop up, and that's not a good look for anybody. So as most of you know, Kerry Lake was put in charge of, federally funded media. Voice of America is one of those chapters. Voice of America has been a federally funded media for many years in America. Voice of America has a Farsi channel, Voice of America Farsi. And Kerry Lake decided to put a man in charge of Voice of America Farsi that is proven, not we don't like him, no, proven fact of history and record of almost 20 years of being involved in media. This guy is, first of all, he is a separatist. There are, and we have provided this to Kerry, by the way, just so everybody knows. We have sent in the videos of him sitting there over the years saying, who cares? Let the regime fall. We just separate each province into its country. We're going to have Turks separate, Kurds separate, Balut separate. So that is his stance. He wants to basically tear apart Iran. Secondly, there has been over and over after every uprising, during every uprising, of proof that he has never asked for the fall of regime. He's one of the Muslim reformists. He wants the moderate clerics to be in power. He was a big fan of Mousavi during Green Movement. So two things. One, he does not call for remove of Islamic regime. He asked for removal of Khamenei and replaced with a moderate supreme leader. Secondly, he has always said if this Islamic regime is not in power, then we might as well tear apart Iran. Kerry Lake decided to put this man in charge of Voice of America Farsi. First, we started saying, ma'am, look into his background. This guy is not someone that represents the voice of Iranian people. Then, I personally spent the entire weekend checking on Voice of America Farsi because Kerry Lake came out and said, you know, we are saying unbiased. He has promised to be unbiased. We're not here to build leaders. We're just here to be the voice of Iranian people. Yeah, you know, the talking points of Kerry Lake. I watched Voice of America Farsi the entire weekend. Then I wrote again. I said, what you're claiming is a lie. Absolute lie. The entire time of watching Voice of America, number one, as they were going over their transitions. Now, I don't know how it works in America. We don't have uprisings here. But one of the things many of the Farsi language news reports are doing, they put a screen with, just like we did, playing some videos without audio, playing some sort of music on it. And at the bottom, they put them, you know, the chants that are happening in Iran. I watched every single one. They named every single one of them except long live the king, except this is the last battle, Pahlavi will return. Those two slogans proven, go to Iran International, you'll see it there, to be the majority chanted chants were completely erased from Voice of America Farsi. So we came out yesterday again saying, Kerry Lake, they're censoring the truth. They are censoring, forget about me, they're censoring the chants that are being chanted inside Iran. You know what her response was? She retweeted an absolute lie tweet by the man in charge of Voice of America Farsi, and she said, for those of you who are trying to create propaganda and create chaos, this is fact, and the focus should be on Iranian people's bravery. So she doubled down. Instead of actually, I thought Kerry is all about investigation, isn't she? Kerry is all about no censorship. Kerry Lake is all about fair election. Then Kerry Lake, why is it that suddenly you're actually protecting a man who is censoring, flat out censoring the voice of Iranian, those brave Iranians that you're using to pretend like you care? He is flat out censoring it. And thousands of us, in a coordinated move, cut clips and sent them to you. You have the evidence, and instead of coming out and replacing him, or at least acknowledging that you made a mistake and you put one of the reformers in charge of Voice of America Farsi, you double down and say that what he's saying is fact. My last post on X towards Kerry was, I already knew she's a sellout when she jumped on Abe Hamadeh, the Muslim candidate in Arizona. Abe Hamadeh wouldn't be a congressman today if Kerry Lake didn't put her weight behind him. The third Muslim congressman was elected from Arizona to Congress because of Kerry Lake. So she was a sellout to me back then. But what she did yesterday, as I said on my post, was a whole new low, even for Kerry Lake, who has shown to believe in radical Islam, but support Muslim candidates inside America. Now she is supporting, she is backing a man that we, the Iranians, we call him, his name is Ali. Ali Javanmardi. Ali, within Iranian society, we call him Ali Fake News. And again, Kerry Lake is aware of all the information I'm providing you and some. Over 10,000 Iranians have been trying, and it's not like Kerry's not saying it, and I'll tell you where's the proof. Kerry Lake has blocked so many Iranians, it is not even funny. What happened to freedom of speech, Kerry Lake? You're blocking Iranians who are criticizing your choice. That's not freedom of speech. That is censoring voices that you can't counter. You're censoring voices that are showing proof against your facts. You're blocking them on your X account. So another hypocrite exposed, not for Iranians. I hope Americans are taking notes. We're gonna have to go take our next ad break. When we come back, well, we're gonna continue the discussion. Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. Finish this painting, but I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Come on, camera, come back. No, okay, I think we're permanently off focus now. This is not even funny. Let me see if I can help it with my. Oh, okay, we'll see. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. And yes, the second way you can financially support me and possibly have a one-of-a-kind, just because I can't even repeat my own creation of art, is lutfstudio.com, where I list my handmade resin pieces. And you can use promo code MISSION to get 10% off. Thank you so much for all of you who did place orders last week. All of your orders were picked up this morning, and they should be arriving within the next 3 to 5 days. Okay, Lee says, on Substack that is, Inez the disappointment. Thank you for referring to me as Inez. I appreciate that. I hear from different quarters regarding Trump's delay of help is on its way. Was that a deliberate psyop to flush out the IRGC, its military, its places of sanctuary, hiding places, etc., etc. This gives the U.S. and Israel valuable strategic advantages and into info for them committing to an attack and help. Just a thought. Lee, I can see what you're saying, and let's do this. Well, those of you who are on my Substack are already aware, but this morning, those of you who are not there, this morning I published a Substack. I'm so blurry. I published a Substack that I encourage you to go check it out. Very short. I'm going to actually read through it. And the title of it is Why I Am Not Joining the Outrage or the Applause. January 13 was a post, not a promise. As we all know, on January 13, President Trump put out a post on his Truth Social encouraging Iranians to stay on the streets, take their institutions if possible, and help is on the way. That was on January 13. A lot of people got excited. Some called it a turning point. Today is January 19th, 6 days later, and no help has arrived. Some are angry, some are still hopeful, and then there are us who are completely neutral. I was genuinely asked, why am I not talking about this? Why am I not calling him out? I'm not calling him out because I think it's coming. So this Substack was my answer to those questions. Let's start with a simple truth. The most successful politicians in history did not succeed because of their humanitarian work. They didn't. They succeeded by knowing exactly when to posture, when to negotiate, and when to stay quiet. Diplomacy and reality don't always walk side by side. Sometimes they don't even speak the same language. Donald Trump is one of the most successful politicians of our time. I'll ask you to read it, but I'll read this again. I said successful politician, not the greatest humanitarian, not even the greatest president, just successful politically. That is not an insult, by the way, that's fact. He's shaken hands with worse people than Khamenei in the last 12 months. He stood next to those who have helped destroy lives and crush freedoms, both Islamic tyrants and socialist ones as well. By the way, I did a long, very long expose of his 12-month actions and reactions when it comes to Islamization during 2025. So I invite you to read that one. Now, look around. Syrians are still not free. Venezuelans aren't either. Afghans, Sudanese, North Koreans, Cubans, pick a place. They're all still waiting. And none of this is personal. I am not here to bash him. Being a politician requires a completely different mindset than giving verbal affirmations. You do not win elections by rescuing strangers. You win by managing optics, leverages, and timing. To expect any politician, even Trump, to suddenly care about another nation's people because of moral obligations is irrational. And you all know I don't do irrational. No matter how emotional I get, I don't do irrational. And if and when a strike comes, I want you to pay close attention to what happens after. The headlines, the deals, and the reshuffling. And in those moments, in those days and weeks that follow, you'll understand why I am saying what I am saying today on January 19th, 2026. That was it. That was the entire length of that Substack. Few words cut here and there for the purpose of reading faster. I know a lot of people say he made a promise. He's a politician. It is time for the world, specifically Americans, to come to realize at the end of the day, President Trump is a politician. I know we want to look at him as a lot of you look at him as your savior. A lot of you look at him as the man, the peace president, all of that. But reality needs to hit at some point. I never believed for a second, and I said this on Brannan's radio, Brannan's Brannan House Live, my own show, so this isn't just a shift of idea today. I addressed it on a Substack as a writing documentation today, but you all heard me say it from day one. I would never expect President Trump, though. President Trump is something for a lot of people, but to me, from day one of campaign for 2024, I saw the politician, not the original Trump, but the politician. And reality is, he's a politician. I'm not going to bash him. I'm not going to ask him. I'm not going to not ask him. I'm not going to hold my breath. My priority is Iranian people today. My priority is to counter the conservative Republican media pushing for Mujahideen to be good guys. Those are my priorities. What Trump does is his business. I have never even counted on him to fix anything inside America, let alone fix something in Iran. And if he does, as I concluded, even if he does, at the end of my debate with Claire Lopez on Brannan House Live on Thursday night, I specifically said at this point, I pray he doesn't help. Because if he does, that is the moment this organic revolution will be hijacked. Again, not because he's a good person or a bad person. No, because simply he's a politician, an American politician. Pattern recognition is my thing. It's very hard. People in my life can testify. It's very hard to disappoint me. It's very hard to make me angry. It's very hard to break my heart because I spot pattern. I'm very good at pattern recognition. I immediately know what the next move is. And if I keep it rational and kill all the emotion and all the human desires as a human rights activist, I know politicians don't do humanitarian work. They don't. Sometimes it looks like they did, but when you look behind the scene, there was a different agenda that ended up projecting humanitarian act. So for me, that's where the case of that post or that promise to some, that's where I'm at with it. Even if and when that strike comes, again, it is not for the good of Iranian people. Why? We're on day 23. 23,000 confirmed death. In average, 1,000 Iranians are being killed every day. Right? Simple math. 6 days since the promise, I call it a post. I just called it verbal affirmation that does not fit diplomacy. In last 6 days of this promise, 6,000 people have died. That's where I'm at. 6,000 people died. Another will die tomorrow. Another will die tomorrow. Ted Cruz comes out and says in next 6 months, the regime will topple, will be taken down. Okay, fantastic. That's 6 months of 1,000 a day dead. I can't count on a humanitarian, just like you can't expect diplomacy from me. I'm a human rights activist. I've always been a human rights activist. I don't do diplomacy. I don't do sugarcoating. Because to me, the aspect of humanity matters, nothing else. I don't care where the cards fall. I don't care who pays who. I don't care if I go broke. I don't care if I sleep on an air mattress. I don't care if I sleep on a fancy California king bed. The foundation is the humanitarian work. That's what I've done for over a decade. So I reverse the table. For me to expect one of the most successful politicians to sit there and care for a humanitarian aspect of this is ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. And I think everybody else should let it rest too. I understand a lot of Iranians, a lot of Westerners are putting more pressure, hoping the pressure is going to force his hand to do it. But bottom line is, politics is politics. Politics does not accept pressure. Politicians are trained to refuse the pressure put on them by anyone and anything except the plan. That's part of the training. That's how you go from 2016 President Trump to 2025 President Trump. Look at it. It's the training, as I said on my Substack, mindset. My mindset is a humanitarian mindset. Could be because of my trauma, could be because of my calling, could be because I've seen too much tragedy not to. But it's just mine. I can't even expect any of you who have been a great supporter of me, my program, my mission, and my people to have the same humanitarian mindset as me, right? We're different. Our mindsets are developed based on our circumstances. Not defending or bashing, but President Trump from 2020 until 24 has shifted this mindset into a politician, not to lose power again, because 2020 came to him as losing power, and he doesn't want to repeat that. So, like it or not, that's how a politician operates. That's how a successful politician operates. It's just the way it is. Let me head over to the comment section for a minute we have left, because segment 3 has to be about Masoud Rajavi. Islam of any kind should have no power anywhere. I agreed with that, Lori, no question about it. John says, I am sad. You keep exposing people I previously thought were the good guys. I know, John. But remember, I know you love when I do this. But unfortunately, this time it's just people you love or you thought were good guys. And that's another thing. I have prayed and I have prayed, and I said this off air to a friend of mine, to one of the hosts I produced their show, said, look at there's always a bright side, right? Though my heart is literally bleeding for innocent young Iranians, right? At the same time, I thank God, thank you, Jesus, for showing the true color of many who were fooling my fellow Americans. What just happened in the last 23 days showed true colors of many of the people and the organizations and the institutions you were all supporting. I told you, Newsmax. Go to website of Just the News. The homepage is plastered with MEK. Newsmax is constantly having MEK members on. These are when you come to realize, when 9 years ago I said I'm walking up from both parties because they're equally corrupt in different angles. Today, you see the evidence with your own eyes that, wait a minute, Newsmax is actually giving platform to Mujahideen. You see with your own eyes, Kerry Lake is blocking Iranians who are trying to get their voice out there. These are the silver lining. These are the bright sides of last 23 days. And yes, by the way, I am that person. I can be a very annoying friend because no matter the circumstances, I'll find the bright side for you in all circumstances. You're like, can you just let me have my pity party? And I'm like, oh yeah, all you had to do was tell me you don't need any positive, and I will let you have your pity party. Okay, I feel like I should have asked for 2 hours today, but I didn't. That's all right. Let's go take our last ad break. When we come back, we have to talk about Masoud Rajavi and his disappearances. Be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Would you like to gain access to over 20 years of my radio shows, TV shows, my books? I've written 15 books, and most of those books are ebooks now. And we have conference DVDs, conferences where we filmed our conferences at the Ozarks, literally starting 20 years ago. It's all available in our archived vault. All you have to do is go to worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and for a reasonable monthly fee, you gain access to over 20 years of Christian worldview programming, news, information, books, documentaries, and a powerful search engine. And folks, it's a great way not only to educate yourself, equip yourself, but it's a big way that you can help fund our continuation as a broadcast network. Please check it out. worldviewtube.com/vault, worldviewtube.com/vault, and help us continue pushing out a Christian worldview.
Welcome back to my half blur show. I feel like I need to find a way to deeply apologize to Thomas and then to you guys. I'll fix this, I promise, by tomorrow. Okay, we have to do this. Those of you who have watched my program for last 2 weeks, Brian House's Radio and Brian House Live, you all have by now you've heard of MEK, Mujahideen Khalq, the Islamist Marxist group. You have heard and seen pictures of Maryam Rajavi over and over. But today we need to talk about something that might have been a question for some of you, maybe not. Whenever we talked, even Claire Lopez on that debate, Maryam Rajavi is referred to as a president-elect, right? And a lot of people might think she's president-elect as a future of Iran president-elect. But no, she's the president-elect inside MEK. Now, you might have think, why? Because there's an existing president. You just don't see or hear about him or from him. Can we pop image number 1? Let's introduce with face. So this is Masoud Rajavi next to Maryam Rajavi, the lady you keep hearing about. I shouldn't use that term anyways. This is president of MEK, Masoud Rajavi. He is the man who came to power after the original founders of MEK were either arrested or executed. He became the president. And the reason Maryam is president-elect is because he is still the president. Now, about 20 years ago, Masoud Rajavi disappeared. I kid you not. He just disappeared from camps, speaking engagements, the website, camera, everything. When asked, the group, including Maryam Rajavi, said he's not dead. But they never said where he's at. He's not dead. To this day, they release audio files, especially now, right? With what's going on, suddenly audio files of Masoud Rajavi are popping back up. Many from MEK themselves have confirmed that it is his voice. Some say it isn't. Question is, we don't know if he's dead or not. If he is dead, there was never a funeral, there is no grave, there was never an announcement, there has not been a death certificate issued for Masoud Rajavi. Now, why is it important to talk about Masoud Rajavi? First of all, when people try to brush off MEK as misunderstood, and Maryam Rajavi is just wearing a hijab, big deal, but she's the leader, she's the boss, and she's a woman, therefore they don't follow Sharia. You need to know she's not the boss. She's the boss to be one day. Masoud Rajavi still commands all the actions. Now, who is Masoud Rajavi? You heard it on Ray's interview on Brown House Live. If you missed it, you really want to go back and watch it. This was Thursday of last week. You want to go watch it. That testimony by Ray, amazing. You want to watch it. But Ray already mentioned this, so I'm going to repeat it just in case if you haven't seen it. Masoud Rajavi and his guys were bodyguards of Khomeini during 1979. Let's pop up picture number 2. You all know the man in the middle. That is Khomeini. The guy to his left is the young Masoud Rajavi. And the guy to his left is one of Masoud Rajavi's MEK guys. They weren't just part of the team. They were his personal bodyguards. Masoud Rajavi, some historians say, was in love with Khomeini. Now it gets a little more deep into friendship. Let's pop the next picture, number 3. Masoud Rajavi was also in love with Saddam Hussein. The picture you're seeing is of Masoud Rajavi and Saddam Hussein in Iraq when Masoud Rajavi and MEK agreed to work with Saddam Hussein during Iran-Iraq war to give Saddam Hussein intel, ways, maps to be able for Saddam to be able to invade Iran and conquer Iran. And that's not the worst part. Here's the next buddy of Masoud Rajavi. You all know him? The founder of a Palestinian Authority, Yasser Arafat. How, I don't know, tens, 100,000s of blood on his hand? That is Masoud Rajavi gifting him a weapon. That's just 3. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3 of Masoud Rajavi's connections. And again, I think you all already understand. With people like Saddam Hussein or Khomeini or Yasser Arafat, you don't just pass by and say, hey, by the way, hi. You gotta have to be very close, very up there, approved of the movement to get that close and be photographed by them. Again, why is this very important? Because to this day, the president of MEK is this man. He went into hiding, by the way, around 2003. The attempts on his life were way up there. And I want to be very clear, attempts weren't just from Islamic regime. He has many enemies. You can imagine. When your buddies are Khomeini, Saddam Hussein, Yasser Arafat, later on, you know, the rest of the heads of all Islamic terrorist groups and tyrants, you make a long list of enemies. So that's why he went to hiding. They almost got him. The last attempt of assassination, he decided to go hiding. So, I don't even know. Do I have any more pictures? I'm sorry, Thomas. I should do better. But yeah, there you go. Thank you. Now, this is his picture with what we call Zulfaqar, that sword with the double edge on top, which some claim this was gifted to him from Saddam Hussein directly. There's a picture inside that picture that shows the original sword that was gifted to Masoud Rajavi. And again, on that debate, for example, Claire Lopez said they never worked with Saddam Hussein. They did their own military attack on Iran. But I want to know, what did you do for someone like Saddam Hussein to gift you his own personal sword? Like, I want to know that. And why would even Saddam Hussein sit down with you, shake your hand? Again, for those of you who missed it, I think it's pretty educational to watch that debate, if we call it debate, because it was more of a denying and ignoring facts, saying Congress got it wrong, everybody got it wrong, MEK is amazing. But for those of you who missed it or may not have the time to watch it, the clarity of that moment was when I asked Claire Lopez that would she, if circumstances allowed and Maryam Rajavi was inside America with proper paperwork to run for either president, Senate, or Congress, would Claire Lopez vote for Maryam Rajavi? She flat out said, no, I have other candidates in mind. That tells you that even supporters of MEK aren't willing to vote for them inside America. So this is where we're at. These conservatives and these Republicans who are backing MEK, I want you to, I did it. I asked Claire, and it's on video everywhere. It was aired. Those of you who watched it, you heard it. Those of you who haven't, go watch it. It's fact. At this point, I don't think even Claire Lopez, who apparently is very good at denying evidence, nothing is against MEK. Everything is either wrong, misunderstood, or propaganda. This one cannot be denied. She literally said she has other candidates in mind. She won't vote for Maryam Rajavi. The rest of them wouldn't either. And this is what I want you to understand. This is what we do. This is what we do in America. We pick leaders for other countries that we would never even give them 5 seconds of our life. And then you kind of wonder, why would some people not necessarily be pro-American government? Well, this is why. You got Republicans out there screaming, killing themselves for MEK that wouldn't even vote for Maryam Rajavi. But I wanted you to know she's president-elect because Masoud Rajavi exists. A lot of Iranians believe he's going to appear the moment U.S. government helps MEK to become the power in Iran, which good luck to them, by the way. But that's what a lot of them think, that he's going to pull the 12 Shia Imam act and appear after 20 years, say, I'm back. However, this man, again, Worldview Tube, approved by Brian House, is working on a major documentary expose on MEK. You'll hear way more about Masoud Rajavi on that documentary when it's out. But I don't know. I might be overreacting. I might be too excited, but I feel like we just looked at 4 pictures, and 4 pictures does. I mean, that's what I would say. A picture sometimes speaks thousands of words, or it speaks volumes. How do you defend that? And again, this guy is not dead. I want to repeat. MEK has never announced his death. They never mourned him. There was no funeral. There is no death certificate issued for him. He's just in the hiding. Just like Khamenei in a bunker, Masoud Rajavi has been in a bunker for 20 years. And what kind of leader is that? I don't know about Americans. I don't know about Claire Lopez, Rudy Giuliani, people at Newsmax, and Mike Pompeo, but we Iranians, we don't like leaders that hide in bunkers for 20 years. We like leaders like Cyrus the Great leading a conquer, freeing people. We like leaders like Reza Pahlavi, who freed Iranians from the tyranny of Qajar dynasty. We like leaders like Reza Pahlavi, who has never been in hiding, even though no one has more death threats than him. That's what we like. We like bravery. So again, to everybody out there, specifically conservative Republicans who are killing yourself, cashing in as much as you can on MEK, I will repeat, MEK, Masoud Rajavi, or Maryam Rajavi, they do not have any support. You tell Iranians, go talk to an Iranian, literally tell them, what do you think about MEK? Their face will tell you what they think of MEK. So you push on your propaganda machines. I pray that your audience are not going to fall for it. But even if they do, that's okay. Guess what? Majority of Americans fell for American propaganda against Reza Pahlavi in 79. This time they can fall for it too. Oh, look, majority of Americans fallen for Islam as a religion of peace propaganda anyways. But I guarantee you, Iranians today, you won't be able to shove MEK in their faces. You just can't. Yes, Cochetta, I did ask Claire about Turkey as well, and she did not answer me. Thank you, Lori. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, John. I know, but you know we need to do this, right? We need to do this. Okay, guys. Unfortunately, we actually ran out of time, and I still had a lot more to tell you about Masoud Rajavi. Why don't we do this? Let's try to talk more about Masoud Rajavi tomorrow and days after. I am working on a lineup. I have few guests lining him up this week.
Tonight on the Worldview Weekend Hour, we're continuing our study through the book of Daniel tonight. And the Lord gave. We'll talk about God's sovereignty in judgment, exile, and faithfulness. The Worldview Weekend Hour begins right now.
WVWTV presents the Worldview Weekend Hour with Brannon Howse. Whether the topic is law, science, government, economics, history, family, social issues, education, or theology, Brannon brings the issues of today into clear focus through the lens of a biblical worldview. And now, here is your host, Brannon Howse.
And welcome to the broadcast, Worldview Weekend Hour on this Sunday night, January 18th, 2026. January 18th, 2026. And we are continuing our study through the book of Daniel. Last week was the introduction, and tonight, lesson 2, we get right into the first chapter. Tonight's lesson is entitled, "And the Lord Gave."